This is Let's Talk Chattanooga Real Estate, the podcast where we cover home buying, home selling, home improvement tips and ideas, market trends and developments, and investing in real estate. If you own real estate in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area, or want to own real estate here, then you're in the right place. Let's Talk Chattanooga Real Estate is hosted by Blake Watson, a real estate agent and investor in Tennessee and Georgia.
Welcome to Let's Talk Chattanooga Real Estate. I'm Blake Watson, your host, and I'm a licensed realtor with Epic Realty. Today, I'm going to review the October market data for Chattanooga area home sales, and I'll share some insights into what the numbers mean for homeowners and for you if you're wanting to buy a home in the Chattanooga area. So let's start off first at looking at what the source of this information is. I get the data straight from the MLS, from the source. Greater Chattanooga Realtors, the Chattanooga Area MLS, which does include the counties of Hamilton County and Sequatchie counties in Tennessee, and then it also includes in Georgia, Catoosa, Dade, and Walker counties in Georgia. So there's 5 counties that are included in this overall home sales report. Now, in just a few minutes, I'll also look at some zip code level information on some specific zips in the area. But we'll start first with the October data, which is the most recent data, and it should give us a good snapshot of where we are totally across the market. So the number of listings, the number of properties that are for sale, the number of single-family homes, really, that are for sale in Chattanooga, in the area, in October of 24, was 3,070. That's single-family homes, and a year ago, in October 2023, there were 2,122 properties for sale. So we have increased the inventory, the available homes for sale, significantly from a year ago. So a year ago, we were about 2,100, and now we're about 3,100 properties for sale. Those are rough estimates. I'm kind of rounding things off. I'll do some rounding today just to keep it a little simpler. But what does that mean to you as a home seller or a home buyer? Well, if you're a home buyer, this is particularly helpful to you because now you have a lot more homes to choose from. You have a lot more options, a lot more available properties that you can review and explore. You can take tours, and you can make an offer knowing that maybe you have another property that you're also still interested in as a backup. So you have a lot more control if you are trying to buy a house now than you did a year ago, just because there are a lot more homes on the market. This is good for you as a home buyer. Now let's look at some sale prices. So if we look at the median sales price over the past month, and that was October, it was $350,000. Now, if I'm just looking back over the past few months, that's kind of floating around each month, up and down a little bit. That's $350,000 is really the highest it's been. Just in September, it was $320,000. In August, the median was $340,000. In July, the median was $330,000. So this October number of $350,000 as a median sales price, it is a spike for sure for October, but don't expect that that is now just the standing new number. There are certainly lower numbers just recently below that. So I think the average for the year, the median sales price will come in probably less. Well, it will come in for sure, less than $350,000. That's the median sales price a year ago. In October of 2023, the median sales price was $315,000. So you can see from $315,000 to $350,000. Wow, that's a big difference in the median sales price from year to year. But again, I want to go back to an overall average. In fact, if we look just at year to date for 2024, the median sales price has been $330,000. That's year to date for 2024. In 2023, the median sales price year to date at this point was $315,000. So those are much more standard median sales prices that you're seeing at $330,000 now. And $315 a year ago. That still reflects, though, a significant increase. As you can see, there's an ongoing increase in value and increase in the median sales price of houses in the Chattanooga area. Now, what does this mean? To you as a home buyer, it means buy now because prices continue to go up. If you are a seller, what does this mean? Well, it means your house is actually worth more today than it was even just a year ago. And people have been saying, oh, the market's slow. It's slowed down because of interest rates being high. Well, look at that. Your house is worth more today than it was even a year ago. You may be surprised if you were to sell your house today that the value of it has increased even over the past year. So the median sales price has gone up, although not a tremendous amount. Now, let's look at the average days on market, because this tells us just how fast things are moving. What is the velocity of sales? In October of 24, average days on market is 49 days. And the year before, in October of 23, the days on market average was 38. So there has been an increase. It takes longer for a property to sell. What does that mean? As a buyer, it means that you're going to have a little more time to work with as you choose a property, because more of them will stay on the market a few more days. So it's not like you necessarily have to put in your bid within 10 minutes of seeing the property online or seeing the property in person. You don't have to throw your bid in right away. You've got just a little bit more time to be able to think through your offer. This also means that you, as a buyer, have more opportunity for your due diligence period to really be effective. You have more time and more opportunity to inspect the home, and you may have more time to negotiate repairs on the property. This is all part of a more balanced real estate market that is getting closer each day. To be sure, we are still in a seller's market. Now let's look at the total number of houses that sold in October of 2024. There were 784 properties that sold in October of 24. That's down from how many sold in 2023. There were 853 properties that sold in 2023 in October. Now, I'm just looking at the general pricing on some of these sold listings. I mean, we've got them all the way from $50,000, probably a lot of fix-up to be done there, well over $1.5 million, well over that, multi-million-dollar properties. But the vast majority of houses being sold in the Chattanooga area are priced between $200,000 and $600,000. So that's definitely where the vast majority are being sold. And within that, you can even narrow it down to $300,000 to $400,000. So between $300,000 and $400,000, that's the sweet spot of most of the properties are kind of in that range. That's where most of the houses are selling, in that price range in October of 24. Now let's just think about some of the things that are impacting these prices. Interest rates throughout the year have been about 7%. In mid-July, interest rates began to come down into the 6 3/4, 6.5 range even. And then as recently as late September, early October, they were really in the very low sixes, 6 1/8, that kind of range for a 30-year mortgage interest rate. Today, I'm recording on Election Day, November 5th, 2024. The 30-year mortgage rate is hovering right about 7%. Once again, it's actually, I think the last one I looked at was 6 7/8. That's the last quote I had seen. That's for a 30-year mortgage, good credit, that sort of thing. So you're still hovering right around 7%. And so that is slowing down the purchase of properties, which did actually increase back in September because of that lower interest rate. August and September kind of picked up, but it has slowed down just a little bit. There's also a seasonal slowdown due to the holidays coming up. Once we get past October, things do slow down a little bit as far as purchases of homes and sale of homes. Then, of course, this year, in an election year, presidential election, we definitely have the slowdown that occurs where a lot of people are just waiting for the uncertainty of who's going to be president, who's going to be in Congress, that sort of thing. They want to know that before they move forward with the purchase of a house or even the sale of a house. So those sort of things slow down the market, but it doesn't mean that houses are not for sale. As I just mentioned to you, there's over 3,000 houses for sale in the Chattanooga area right now, today. And that's going to continue through the holidays into the early part of the winter. And it'll probably change certainly by springtime. But we're going to have good, strong inventory and a lot of opportunity. Houses still sell because people still need to move. People are still having changes in their lives that impact their housing needs. And because of that, you can still sell your house this time of year. You can still buy a house this time of year. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, because of a little bit slower pace, if you're looking to buy a house right now, well, you're going to be able to have more opportunity to examine more properties and not be in such a rush to get your offer in before there's a lot of bids on the property. Of course, every house is unique, every property is unique, every neighborhood is unique, so anything that I'm telling you is really just a general overview of the Chattanooga area. Now, let's look a little bit more at some zip codes. I just pulled some that have been particularly active and continue to be particularly active. East Brainerd, zip code 37421. Number of listings is up in the East Brainerd zip code 37421. There are 144 properties for sale, and the median sold price in October was $370,000. That was the median price for a house in October in that 37421 zip code. Then let's look at Ooltewah. That is 37363. That zip code has 259 properties for sale right now. You know there has been a lot of construction going on in Ooltewah, and there are a lot of houses for sale in that area. Great place to be looking if you're wanting to buy a new home. So 259 properties are for sale right now in the 37363 zip code. And let's look at that sold median sales price. This is the median sales price for October was $458,000. Yes, houses in that zip code are more expensive. In September, they were $478,000. Then back down to August was $450,000. July was $446,000. It is definitely a more expensive area overall. The median sales price year to date in the Ooltewah zip code is $466,000. So you are going to pay more in Ooltewah, but your values are also much higher there too. You're going to have about 4.2 months worth of inventory available right now. That's the absorption rate, and average days on market, 65 days. It takes a little longer to sell a house in the Ooltewah zip code, but there are plenty of them still moving. Let's go across town to a very different neighborhood, but one that is really picked up in interest, and that is the 37415 zip code. There are 70 properties for sale right now, and in October, there were 32 of them that actually sold and closed. That gives us a 2.3-month supply. That's pretty quick. 42 days on market is the average from October in Red Bank. Median sales price was $377,000 in Red Bank over October. And we look back at the whole year, the median sales price year to date in Red Bank is $360,000. Houses in Red Bank have definitely become much more valuable, and there's been plenty of interest in that area, and houses are selling pretty quickly there. So that's an overview of the Chattanooga market and several selected zip codes. And I wanted to share that with you because there's so much national news and national information about our housing market that you need to know that a local realtor like me can help you to navigate through this. And in Chattanooga, prices, market conditions are all different than where it might be in another part of the country, even different than Knoxville or Nashville, Atlanta. These other cities that are not far from us at all have very different local markets than we do here in Chattanooga. Real estate is very local. You know that all the way down to the neighborhood and even the block that you live on. So you really want to lean on a realtor and their expertise and experience to help you through any home buying or home selling process. And of course, I would appreciate the opportunity to talk with you about your plans for buying or selling a house. And I'd like to offer my book. It's called The Complete Guide to Buying a Home. The Complete Guide to Buying a Home. It's a complete book that I have prepared and written, and I'm looking to see how many pages. 93 pages in this book, and I am glad to give this to you at no charge. If you'll just contact me, just reach out. I'll give you my info here in just a second. Just reach out, and either I'll deliver it to you and we'll meet up, or I will mail it to you. One way or the other, we'll get it in your hands. That way you can use some of my expertise in buying a home. And of course, I would welcome the opportunity to work with you and walk with you through the process of either buying a house or selling your house, or maybe both. Maybe you're selling your house and need to buy another one. If you're doing that, please give me a call. I'm Blake Watson. I'm an agent with Epic Realty. My mobile phone is 423-315-1815, and my brokerage office phone is 888-893-3537. You can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn as Blake Watson, and on Instagram as Rock and Roll Blake. My website is athomechattanooga.com. And if this podcast has been helpful, well, please share this podcast with a friend and follow this podcast so you won't miss an episode. And until next time, I wish you all the best in your real estate journey.